Hello fellow leggers, thank you once again for joining us here in the heart of London's West End, where we are heading into the Noel Coward Theatre.
And that's to see a play which has an absolutely outstanding cast by an American classic playwright, Tennessee Williams, and that's The Night of the Iguana.
So as usual, stick around to hear all of our thoughts.
Find out how many stars,
Whether it's break a leg
or leg it.
Another Tennessee Williams play. No,
Yeah.
they're usually quite slow burners.
Yeah, as a general
but good.
rule, but this is one of the sort of less produced ones.
I've never heard of it.
Everyone will know Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, The Glass
Yeah.
Menagerie, and
Yeah.
A Streetcar Named Desire.
Yeah.
But maybe not Night of the Iguana.
Okay.
So let me fill you in.
Why, thank you.
But it's based on the 1948 short story by Tennessee Williams, which was first staged as a one-act play in 1959. But then it was adapted and fleshed out into its current three-act version, which premiered on Broadway in 1961 and starred two-time Oscar winner Bette Davis in the role of Maxine.
Is that why it was fleshed out?
Probably
Do
to
you think
give her a bit
she
of a...
looked at it and was like, I'm not going to do one act.
I mean, would you if you were Bette
Give
Davis?
me more to work with.
Absolutely. I mean, I've got to say, I adore Bette Davis. One of my favourite ever quotes. I'm probably going to paraphrase this now. So you know how she hated Joan Crawford?
Okay.
You know Feud that we
Yes.
watched, and it's
Yeah.
her. So upon learning that Joan Crawford had died, she said to the press that told her, well, my mother always said that you should speak good of the dead. Joan Crawford's dead. Good! I mean, incredible, right? Do you know what? Tell me if that's true down below, or whether it's an urban myth.
It should be
It
true.
should be
It
true.
sounds legendary.
I'd love to think it was.
The quotes of legends.
So Bette Davis played the role of Maxine, and that
Okay.
production was nominated for several Tony Awards, including Best Play, and was later adapted into a film starring Richard Burton.
Wow.
High-profile stuff. Now, the story is set on a dilapidated hotel veranda in a rainforest in Mexico as a group of lost souls collide for an epic battle between flesh and spirit, captivity and freedom, art and faith as a tropical storm approaches.
So much in there.
Deep, man.
Oh my goodness.
Really deep. 'Cause
Profound.
Tennessee loved it deep. Now, director James Macdonald, as mentioned before, has assembled an absolutely stellar cast for this, including Hollywood A-lister Clive Owen.
Okay.
Clive is best known for maybe film work, including Vent,
It's great.
Sin City,
Yes.
and Closer,
I love that film.
for which he was nominated for an Oscar.
Natalie Portman,
In-
Kate
Winslet,
yes.
yes. Interestingly enough, two of those were adapted from stage versions, and he was in the production of Closer at the Donmar.
Wow.
So he went on to do the film, which clearly served him well, getting an Oscar nom. Now, two-time Emmy winner for her role as Skylar White on the massively popular Breaking Bad, Anna Gunn is in this, playing Maxine.
Loved her.
I mean, I don't know Breaking Bad.
I watched it all from start to
But
finish.
she must, to win two Emmys, she
She
must
was
have been
great.
the best thing about it, right?
Yeah,
One
absolutely.
of them.
They were both great.
Now, in the role of Hannah is the majestic Lia Williams. Now, you'll know Lia from Oresteia, Mary Stuart,
She's done loads of TV work.
recently
as
we
well.
saw her in the prime of Miss Jean Brodie,
We did,
which
over
we
at the
have,
Donmar,
have
yeah.
a review for. But yes, TV including The Crown, which she played American debutante Wallis Simpson. Now, there are a lot of other amazing cast in this and some cracking creatives, but we'll talk
Cracking
about
creatives.
those at the end because it's a bit of a long one, so I'm keen
You
to
said
get
3
in.
acts.
Yeah, 3 acts, 2 hours and 55 minutes, including 1 interval. So it ain't no snippy, rippy, get right through it. But we'll be back at the interval to give you our 30-second interval breakdown.
And at the end to find out how many stars. We've come to the interval, which means it is time for the break-a-leggers
30-second interval breakdown. Carl, what do you think so far?
I'm finding it pretty dull, fellow leggers. Literally, the last 10 minutes, was there any kind of action when it suddenly started to rain and there was thunder? Otherwise, I'm not really being drawn into the story at all. I couldn't really care less. How about you?
I'm having a different experience. I think it speaks about charlatanism. It speaks about being true to yourself and what sacrifices you have to make to do that. I'm enjoying the subtext. I've got to admit it is very subtle, but some of the performances are working.
We have come to the end of the night of... Is it the night
Yeah,
of the...
the night of the
Iguana here
Iguana,
in
Mexico.
London's West End, in St Martin's Court, the home of great dramatic theatre,
Really?
drama.
Well, to be fair, we're
Usually,
straddled by two theatres here, because we've got the Starry Messenger on one side, which we loved,
we did.
and we've got Night of the Iguana on the other side, which we
Which
didn't.
bored
I think,
me to... I
mean, don't mince
think,
your words,
no,
dear.
I don't think I've been as bored through a piece of theatre in quite a while. I mean, the end of history, was that what it was?
Yeah.
Was painful enough, but that was one act and
yeah, I would
not
rather
as long as
sit
this.
through that again than sit through this again.
I felt
And
like a child, just like at an event. You know where you're at an
like
event?
at a boring museum, where
Yeah,
you wish you were
and
somewhere
you just
else.
is this going to end? How long? Please let me go. What's going on? I felt like that. I thought, what's going on? I wanted it to end.
But I mean, I've got to say, I think there were some strong elements to it, and I think that the cast is very capable. They're just lumbered with this absolute dead weight of a text, which has if it has any light and shade and has any dramatical merit, it certainly hasn't been released under the instruct of this director, is what I would say.
I agree. I've seen this cast do stuff, and I know they are very capable.
Yeah.
And
But it
that's
just-
all I can say.
But it wasn't here. But I mean, some lovely creative touches. The set, for example, it is very evocative. I loved the set.
The set was good.
It
the
is a
floor
nice
was good.
floor production,
The
guys.
shanty was good. There's
Because-
one moment from the end of the first act where
You
it
want to give it
comes-
away? Spoil
yeah,
that.
I do, because it's the only
Sorry,
moment.
spoilers, because it's the only thing worth talking about.
I could see it coming in terms of the story, and then in the set design, I could see what was going to happen. Plus, there was a constant drip through the entire show, so I thought, there's going to be some rain at some point.
And
the rains did come,
Yeah.
and he's shouting out to the heavens in the middle of this rainstorm. The last 10 minutes of the first act was the only element of drama, as I said, in the interval breakdown. But that's it. There was nothing
Interesting
else.
to note that Ray Smith, the set designer for this, was actually also set designer on Rosmer's Home, which also had water. Lots
That
of
show's
water.
come down now, right?
That show has finished, yes.
So we can talk about it.
talk
There's no
about that.
spoiler. Yeah,
But
come the end.
apparently,
Nice
if
moment.
you need a nice wet set, you go to Ray Smith,
And
and
it
he'll
was-
sort you up with a nice damp drip.
And it worked really
It did
well.
work
That
really well. It
moment
was
looked great.
beautiful.
And I guess in terms of the lighting, is it Neil Austin?
It's Neil Austin, so one
really
of the best
nice
in the
casting
business.
of shadows, it was nice lightning, so some nice stuff there.
Yeah, and Max Pappenheim. I mean, you can do
Constant soundscape.
Yeah, you could do a huge amount with a really strong soundscape of making you feel like you're in the moment. And certainly in the first act, I did feel at times that I could almost feel the heat, like I could feel the tropics. I could imagine closing my eyes and it being warm and it being the smells of the rainforest. And I think sound does a huge amount to take you to that point. And
Yep.
it did take me there in Act 1. Sort of falls off a cliff in Act 2 though, because you just get these sort of droll hums of aircraft, which I was a bit like, I would like a bit more in Act 2, because like with the rain, it sells you the whole thing in the first act, and then Act 2 never, ever, ever gets anywhere near Act 1. In terms of dramatical elements.
Yep, I
Dramatical
guess so.
elements.
In terms of the piece, I'm confused by the piece entirely.
Yeah.
I think there's elements in there about the night of this iguana throughout the piece is kind of chained up, and in the end they let it go. And I think there's something in there in terms of the
I mean,
characters.
there's a huge amount of
metaphors
Yeah.
in life wanting to be let go, whether it's him.
hugely metaphorical, a mass amount of innuendo. Just I didn't understand it, and I would argue that Tennessee maybe didn't understand it himself, or if he did, he was the only one, because it doesn't, in this production, it doesn't really unveil itself to an audience in so much as a nice resolution of thoughts. It's just very abstract, and the metaphors are just there, but I don't know what the purpose is.
I struggled to care for a character.
A
in this
single
production.
character?
I struggled
Any
to
of them?
care for a single character. Yeah, you're challenging me now and you're asking me.
Yeah.
But I think I did struggle. I struggled to care for a single character.
And what would you
I didn't care for
say
the
what
lead
that
guy.
was the fault of?
Probably the writing.
Yeah,
I'm going to say the writing.
I think the writing
didn't
is
make me
weak.
care for a character.
When something is not produced very often, I think I'm learning that maybe there's a reason for that. Do you know what I mean? Like, as Tennessee Williams pieces go, there's always a glass menagerie on somewhere. I could travel up and down the country and find 3 streetcar names Desires at any point. Could I find this, and have I ever seen it before? Have I ever even heard of it before this production? No.
And maybe
that's
that's
because
why.
people stay away
I just
from
found
it,
it very
right?
confused. Again, similar themes in terms of Tennessee Williams. In terms of mental health in there,
Yeah.
I guess as well.
The
This character
sexual
must have
undertones about
sexual
understanding
undertones.
your own sexuality and your desires sexually, and an awakening sexually, I guess,
Potentially.
for one of the characters. Let's move on to some of the cast. I think it's
just
worth
move on.
mentioning them.
Because the thing is, they're good.
Shall we? Yeah. Shall we
They're
start
good.
right at the top? Shall we talk about Clive Owen?
In his early stages, I did like some of his characterization.
Yeah.
Kind of, I could see that he was doing something. He brought something to the table. He wasn't
Yeah.
just being Clive Owen. You know, he was bringing a character, this tormented character. So I could see that, but I just got bored with him.
I mean, he is on stage almost the whole time, and I'd imagine a lot of people coming to see this are coming because they are middle-aged white women, big fans of Clive Owen. Because I was looking around the audience, and that seemed to be what it was the case of. And if you want to spend 3 hours in the presence of Clive Owen, wearing a tight-fitted shirt and looking fantastic for 54, then this is the chance to do it.
But you'll be bored after 10
But
minutes.
you'll be bored,
in my opinion.
Potentially, you'll be bored with the subject matter. Let's talk about Anna Gunn in the role of Maxine Falk, the American in this piece. How did you? I don't know her previous work, so I've got nothing to
She's good,
put her
she's
against.
talented, she did what she could with this piece.
Completely
but,
underwritten in the second act.
Yeah.
Completely underwritten. I would also want to mention Finity William in the role of Judith Fellows, just because she...
Which one was that?
I haven't got a clue, but I wanted to mention her. I think she... Oh yeah, no,
Which one do you think
she's
she
the
was?
American tour guide leader of the tour bus, and it wasn't her fault. It's one of those, it's not her fault. She's been directed to be a stereotypical, loudmouth Southern American with nothing outside of that.
I found the part
She's the daughter
to
of
be...
Judi Dench.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I found it to be a two-dimensional cliche of a part. I don't know if that's how it's written or how it's directed, but what I was presented with was a 2D cliche. And as such, I then didn't care about this relationship when she was trying to guard her daughter coming from this Christian background against this lead guy who is a bit of a sexual predator, repressed sexual predator. I just didn't care. I thought, I'm not buying this, I'm not believing you, and therefore I didn't care.
And Lia Williams as Hannah Jelks. I mean, I've got to say though, Lia Williams is one of the strongest stage actors that we have. You're hard pushed to find a stronger female lead part in all of London, like leading actress.
Yeah, absolutely.
But this part wasn't written particularly well.
And it was just quite slow, monotonous.
Yeah.
And
There's just
she's in
nothing-
control as an actress, and she's made some absolute definite choices in terms of the accent. She's constant as a performer, but just the character and what she's
Could
bringing.
you place the accent?
No, but it was consistent.
I would call it American via Dublin, is what I would call it.
Very Dublin, not any Scottish, not Glasgow.
Sometimes maybe she'd taken a few weekends to Edinburgh. I'm not
Okay,
sure.
I had no problems. I bought into it.
But she's just wonderful. Like, as a stage presence, the moment she ascended those stairs, before I even saw her face, I felt it was Lia Williams.
Do
You
you
know what I mean?
know
Like,
what
I
I-
feel
yeah.
her presence.
In terms of the piece, I almost wanted a bit more because she's a bit of a hustler. She kind of like, not a hustler, but she has to kind of manipulate
Barter.
situations, barter to get by. I almost wanted it to be a Dirty Rotten Scoundrels in a way, and for her to have hustled
She's a
the whole
con man.
situation. And yeah, then I would have gone like, yes, Mr. Williams, now that's a well-written piece.
Yes.
But it just never came.
It just never comes, guys. Let's wrap it up, I think. So, for the Night of the Iguana, currently playing at the Noel Coward Theatre.
Oh, I was going to say, before we reveal any stars, make sure you subscribe to hear our views on other videos and other shows that we are seeing here in London and around the country. Hit the like button if you like what we do. If you don't, hit the dislike. Be something, don't be nothing.
Shall I rewind?
So now you're probably
For the
wondering.
Night of the Iguana, currently playing the Noel Coward Theatre here in London's West End, we are going to give 2
2 stars.
Yeah, it just does nothing. It did nothing for us. Like I say, I think there's a reason this isn't revived more often. It's boring, it's long, it doesn't make any clear points, it lacks dramatical merit, and I struggle to care.
Which is a real shame.
But
like I say,
I love the performers.
But like, this is London. This is the the driving force, I think, of theatre. And to have this cast as well should be good. But there is a reason why there was a number of empty seats around us.
Yeah, and a whole level closed, actually.
And there was a reason why there was someone on their mobile phone for a good 10 minutes, and I was happily distracted by that.
No, we never advocate phone use in theatres, guys, irrespective of how much you are enjoying
There's
the piece.
a reason why this stuff is happening.
I'm sorry to break it to you, this is someone's favourite play. This is somebody's favourite play.
I want to hear from you.
Yeah, let us
Please,
know why.
let us
What
know
have we
below.
missed?
What have we missed? What did we need to know?
At the end of the
or
day,
what should we have taken? What should we have got?
It's just what I think.
And it's just what I
What
think.
do you think? That's the most important thing. Have you seen this piece? If not, why not give it a go with a break of leggers?
And we'll catch you again soon.
Bye.